Now that COVID vaccinations are available for Keiki 6 months through 4 years old, many parents are deciding whether to immunize their child. This morning on Ask a Specialist, we're finding out what you need to know with Dr. Jennifer Bouthia, allergist and immunologist at the Queens Medical Center. Doctor, thanks for joining us today. Very important topic.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Christine.
Yes, definitely. Now, I know it's only been a short time since vaccinations became eligible for this age group, but what have you heard so far about how Keiki, who have been vaccinated, are doing?
So, as you said, we're very early in the vaccination for this age group, but the Queens COVID vaccine hotline has seen a big increase in parents calling to make appointments or find out where they can go to get their young children vaccinated. And overall, what I have heard from my colleagues out in the community, pediatricians and family medicine docs, is very positive. These are parents who have been waiting for over a year to be able to vaccinate their youngest children. And so there definitely is a lot of enthusiasm on both the parts of the community doctors as well as the parents.
And speaking of parents, they do have a lot of questions, especially about the safety and the effectiveness of the vaccines. What can you tell us about those two issues?
That's a great question. And when it comes to safety and effectiveness, these are both elements that get studied very, very stringently as the vaccines are being reviewed for approval. And the good news is that both the Moderna vaccination and the Pfizer vaccine have been shown to be very safe and also equally as effective as they've been demonstrated to be in kids ages 5 and older. When they initially put out the data to the FDA and also to the CDC, there were no cases of anaphylaxis among the children who were study participants. And also there were no cases of myocarditis, which was being very, very closely followed due to this rare but real risk from vaccines.
What about the decision about whether to get the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine? What are the pros and cons of both?
So overall, these two vaccines were not compared in a head-to-head sort of study. And there are some important differences that might impact a family's decision based on their individual circumstances. So a big difference that parents will notice is that while the Moderna vaccine is 2 primary injections, the Pfizer vaccine is actually a 3-injection series. So in some situations, parents may be planning to do a lot of travel to areas with a lot of COVID. Someone might live in their home who is immunocompromised or vulnerable. And so some families may want to choose the route of 2 doses so that their child is maximally immunized faster. But then you have other parents who might prefer the lower dose that's in the Pfizer vaccine and is given over the course of 3 injections. It just takes longer to achieve that peak immune protection. Some parents may prefer only 2 shots versus others who don't mind their child getting a 3rd injection. So really the decision between the 2 will ultimately be based on your individual family situation. One thing I do want to highlight, however, is that if your child aged 6 months to 4 years is immune compromised, the Moderna vaccine is approved to give an additional 3rd dose for immune compromised children. Pfizer is already 3 doses, and they do not have approval to give an additional dose to immune-compromised patients. Therefore, if your child is immune-compromised, as an immunologist, that's the one situation where I would strongly encourage that you choose the Moderna vaccine instead of the Pfizer. But otherwise, if your child's otherwise healthy, really, it's a personal preference.
Final advice for parents who are still on the fence?
So I know that overall, children have been less impacted by COVID severity compared to adults, but I don't want parents to think that children aren't getting severely sick. So over the last two years and a couple of months, there have been over 20,000 children between 6 months and 4 years old in the United States who have been hospitalized because of COVID, and over 200 children have died within that same age range because of COVID. So we know that the pandemic is still going on, and for those parents who are excited about the vaccine, I'm excited that you're excited. For those who are hesitant, I do understand where that hesitancy can come from, and really I encourage you to talk to your family's primary care physician, because we know that a parent's comfort level with choosing to vaccinate their child is directly correlated with communication with their primary care doctor.
All right, to learn more about the vaccination clinics offered by Queens, you can visit their website at covid.queens.org/vaccine or call 808-691-2222. Thank you so much, Dr. Muthia, for joining us. We appreciate your time.